Guys, this is Carrie again with Fullerton Professional Organizing. And today I have a guest for you for our Work Wednesday. And I'm going to go ahead and just let her introduce herself and we're going to get into it.
Well, hello. Thanks, Carrie, for having me. I appreciate this opportunity to talk to you and all the friends out there. My name is Laura Mars. I am in St. Louis, and so my business name is Simple Steps Organizing, STL. Um, and yes, I do residential organizing. I work with seniors a lot. As a former teacher, I work with families with young kids also. So sort of the
Awesome. I
gamut.
used to be a teacher as well.
Oh, good, good.
Yes. Awesome. And tell me, how long have you been in business first?
5 years. I started during COVID. I don't recommend it starting a business during a pandemic, but that's the timing that happens. So,
Yes, same with me. My fifth
really.
year starts August 1st.
Oh,
So,
very good.
so that it worked out for me perfectly. How did you get in? I mean, how did that come about? Have you always been naturally organized? Or because I haven't always been naturally organized, I learned it over 35 years of marriage. So, how did you start your business?
Yeah, I have been actually naturally organized. In fact, once I fell into this, it was kind of fun to look back and think as a kid, oh yeah, this was written all over the walls. It was just ridiculous. So I do come by it very naturally. And I mean, what a gift to be given to be able to help other people do that. And I just love what I do. It's such a blessing to be able to have a business that does this. But as far as like how I got started,
Hmm.
well, I'm a Lutheran school teacher, and so I decided my grandkids had moved away, and I was having sort of grandchild withdrawal. So I decided I would go to the early childhood because I was ready to like have kids sit on my lap and we'll read and we'll color and it'll
Oh,
be great.
yes, I love
And
that.
and it was wonderful. And I loved my kids. I loved the parents and my co-teachers, the school, everything was great. But what I was not prepared for was my lack of immune system.
Oh.
So I'd never been so sick in my life. I tried it for 3 years and I was like, I can't do this anymore, like seriously sick. And my
Mhm.
husband was like, yeah, I could do without all the germs coming home too. So when the pandemic hit, actually before the pandemic hit, I'd already turned in my letter of intent not to come back. You know, I have to sign
Mhm.
those like about in February.
Right.
But I thought to myself, Lord, what am I going to do? What's next? What do you think here? And honestly, for the first time, I think in my life, I took a really honest, deep dive on what I like to do. Usually in the past, it's like, well, Lord, what do you want me to do? I think I should do this. So how about that? And I'm just
Mhm.
looking for him to codify what I think is right. So this time I just like put the brakes on and I thought, I have a moment. We've got COVID here. Let's just think this through. And I thought, honestly, what I like to do, if I'm being totally honest, I like to sit on my butt and watch HGTV. I love a good before and after, right? I mean, who doesn't? But I thought, oh, I don't have a design degree, so that's not really it. I thought, but I do like to like clean my house, like make it nice and neat and welcoming, and have it be this place of peace for
Yes.
my family and friends to come into. And I thought, well, I don't really want to clean someone's house. I mean, I like a clean house, but I'm not loving doing the work.
Right. We don't exactly love cleaning. We just it has to be done.
It has to be done. So I thought, well, I wonder if there was some way that I could just like organize for a living, just organize people's homes. And I Googled it, and I'll be darned if there isn't a whole profession around it. I was shocked. So I thought, okay, I think I can do this. These are my absolutely God-given talents, and let's run with it. So that's how it started.
Wow, that is so neat. That is so neat. So before you didn't know that there was a profession out there before you Googled it. Wow,
Yep.
well, that's interesting. I know 35 years ago when I became interested in organizing for my own home, I don't know that I knew that there was, I don't think, well, there may or may not have been a profession for it then, but I read the book from uh, home executives, Pam and Peggy. I forgot their name, their last names. LaHaye, anyway, I think LaHaye. Anyway, they had a book, and that's what fascinated me because one of the wives had didn't couldn't cook and couldn't clean. I mean, her idea of cleaning, which is why this one of her books was so funny and so horrifying at the same time. For us that are organizers. It was horrifying, but it cracked me up. She said at her idea of a clean home at Christmas was just spray that snow on everything so no one knew it was messy. Like I said, horrifying and hilarious at the same time. Who would have thought, to do that? Um, so it cracked me up. But what they learned together, because her husband divorced her, so she wound up, going in with her sister to really learn how to take care of the home and teach other people. So I thought it was really great. But what fascinated me was the kitchen and how and saving steps in the kitchen. That was really what got me. I was like, wow, we should who even thought that saving steps in the kitchen by having things organized in a way that everything's by the stove, everything is, you're not having to walk all over the kitchen every time you want to do something.
So that productivity angle was what really
Yeah.
captured your attention.
Yes, yes. And
Interesting.
just to think that people think about that stuff fascinated me. So that's how I started learning. Of course, back then it was all through the library because we didn't have computers back then.
Library is a great source of organizing books. I
Yeah.
check out a ton of books on organizing, and then I buy the ones that I'm really loving. So, yep.
Yes. Well, tell me what were some of your favorite books that you read on organizing?
Oh, good question. The Organizing from the Inside Out, Judith, um, blanking on her last name. Everybody seems to
Starts
know
with
it
an
though.
M, right?
Montgomery? Is that it? I'm thinking of
Well,
some.
at least we've got the name of the book. We don't.
I should have brought my stack of books. I'm
Yeah,
downstairs.
that's all right. I didn't even you didn't know I'd ask that question. So
That's okay.
um,
That's okay.
the audience, hey, I'm
She
throwing out some
really,
questions she didn't know I was going to answer. So give her a break. Um,
she really, really stepped out exactly what happens in an organizing session, which
mhm,
because I was not disorganized and never had anyone come in and like do that for me, I didn't know what this looks like at all. I'm just
right.
relying on what other people are. I'm reading about. I was able to join the NAPO chapter here in
Mhm,
St. Louis and was able to connect with other organizers and figure out what they do. So that was fine. But back to books. That book really stepped it out, which is why I named my business Simple Steps Organizing, because it's the teacher in me that
mhm,
wants to teach other people. These are steps that are repeatable that you can do after I'm gone. We'll figure out your natural organizing style. That's another really good
mhm.
book. Cassandra Arson's The Clutter Bug.
Yes.
Love the organizing style that everyone has a natural style. And I can walk in and I can observe and ask some questions and realize, okay, you like things behind closed doors and in files and things like that. Or you're the sort of person that needs to see everything you've got. Okay, so we can work with whatever style you have
Hmm.
because I can organize it the way I want it all day long. But if I walk out the door, you won't be able to maintain it if it's not your style.
Right.
So that was a really good one. And Matt Paxson's Keep the Memories, Lose the Stuff.
Oh Oh, okay.
He was the one on hoarders. He was
Yeah.
the organizer on hoarders, and he just talked about how helpful it is to let people tell the story behind why what they're keeping.
Yeah, keep the memory, but let go of the items,
Yes.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So take a picture of it, write the story down, tell it to someone else, and then you are much more mentally able to release that item. So those are some of my top books. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Now, I haven't read the first one and I haven't read his, but I was familiar with both of them. I do feel like I need to read the first one though. And what I think is different about you and I being organizers is that we have been teachers. Do you think that is helpful? And the reason I ask that is, do you dive into how to organize for someone with ADHD?
I'm learning more and more about that all the time. Because I'm a teacher, it's not completely unfamiliar, obviously, but yeah, there's a specific skill set with that, and I think it. But I keep going back to that Cassandra Arson and the
Yeah.
organizing style. I just think that plays a huge role
Yeah.
in whatever. Um, uh,
Yeah, because as teachers, we know that our students all have different learning styles.
yes,
Some are visual,
yes,
some are tactile learners. So I think that helps us wrap our minds around the fact that we organize differently for different families and different individuals,
yeah,
depending on their style and their lifestyle.
right,
Yeah,
right.
that's very good. Um, all right. All right. Well, what else? What are the I know all organizers can do, a very myriad amount of different services, but what do you find that you get hired for the most?
Oh, just sort of, I want to say basic decluttering and organizing.
Hmm.
And that's what I enjoy the most
Yeah.
too. I am not certified with hoarding issues. I'm not sure I want to be. I've been on hoarding teams and it's fascinating.
Hmm.
Um, but it's also kind of overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because um there's a difference between what we see on TV and because I do have a lot of clients that will tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm a hoarder," and when I get there, it's
No,
nothing like what's on TV, and I don't think yeah, that's a whole totally different beast there. But it's also on the flip side, not always like rainbow order. Yes,
all right.
some things are in rainbow order because it makes sense, like clothes, because we're matching by color.
Mhm.
Um, I may put my spices in alphabetical order just because that's the way it is in the grocery store and it's easier. But not everything is going to be, not every client can work with strict structure.
Right. No, no. And that's part of our job as organizers is to manage that expectation that this is not a TV show.
Mhm.
And I will tell them there are organizers who love um, putting fun labels on things
Mhm.
and just making everything beautiful and aesthetically gorgeous.
Mhm.
And I tell them I am not that organizer.
Mhm.
I will organize you. We will have labels and it will get done. And you will be able to live with this
And
system that we're
maintain.
setting up. But please, if you want that, I can give you the name of another organizer or someone who can come behind me and just do the beautiful labels after I'm done. But I am not one to, and I'm not sure if I should say this, I'm not one to foo-foo organize, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's just me. And it's good to know
Mm-hmm.
what your limits are so you can manage those expectations for your clients too.
Yeah, because there are other organizers and your clients are your clients and their clients are their clients. That's another reason to not be in competition with others in our area because everyone has their people.
Yeah.
What I know I'm not good at is the digital organizing, going into someone's computer and making sure all their files in there. I'm not that techie. I'm not that person.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what I can and cannot do. Um,
But then you and I both know those organizers that can, so we could be
mhm,
a resource.
yes.
Yeah. Here in St. Louis, and I'm sure it's this way across the country, it's I've never been in an organization where we're all doing the same business and yet we don't feel any competition. It's
Mhm.
all just a group effort and a group support, and it's really lovely.
Yes, yes. And the longer you're in business, the longer you learn those things. It's just hopefully you don't cut all these people off before you learn it and realize, oh, we can all work together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I learned that in my first side hustle business. I did dress up tea parties for 21 years, which ended in the pandemic.
Yeah, that would do it.
So I learned that sometimes I was doing tea parties at people's homes and they had a little tea room just right down the street that they could have
Hmm.
done a tea party at. So I found that's kind of how I learned. I was like, oh, well, they wanted me in their home.
Uh-huh.
I was their person. That just happened to not be how they wanted to do it. So that's how I learn. You learn from, work. You just learn from doing. And I think that's great. So do you do downsizing and have you done moving projects? Have you helped people move?
Oh yeah. I'm usually on a moving team. It is not my specialty to organize a move, but I will be there to help pack.
Mhm.
I've also had made some contacts with some senior living facilities here in the St. Louis area, and so they'll call me because movers will take someone out of their home, pack them up, move them into their senior living apartment, but they won't unpack.
Right.
And so I'm hired to unpack, and that's always fun to get people all settled in their home. And in just a couple of hours, you walk out the door, and they are completely set. The sheets are on the bed, the towels are hanging on the hooks, and they're home.
Awesome. Yes. I love that. I love it when I can help them move and help them move in, but sometimes they're moving out of town and I don't get to do that with them and that always makes me sad. But yeah, I love that. I just recently started in that arena, basically just because a client hired me to do it and then I was a little reluctant because I just did not want to break anything
Yeah.
accidentally. And moving, there's a lot of movement. In organizing, there's movement too, but in moving, you really have to make sure not only you don't break it, but it doesn't break on the way.
Yeah.
But I have finally done enough of those projects that, I'm pretty confident with that. So how Now let's say, how has your faith been influential in your business, or how have you involved your faith in your business?
Well, I think other organizers like this, and correct me if I'm not speaking for you, but anytime I'm going to a new client's house, I am so nervous.
Yeah.
you know so there's a lot of prayer
Yes.
involved, especially before that first meeting. But honestly, as I get in my car and I back out of my driveway, I'm immediately starting to pray, Lord, make me a blessing to this person. Help me to remember that I have two ears and one mouth and to use them in that order. So yeah, there's a lot of prayer that goes along with my preparation to meet a client and to work with them. Um, I don't. I am very upfront about my Christian faith. My website has that. My social media has that. I wear a cross necklace. I have a James Avery cross
Mhm.
ring, but I don't. I let the client lead any sort of faith sorts of questions and things. It's really interesting. I will say absolutely nothing about my faith. I was like, especially on team jobs where I'm not the lead, so I'm not saying anything anyway because I'm not the lead. Um, and a client will start off perhaps using more colorful language than I'm used to, shall we say, and then honestly, I think they see the ring, the cross on my hand, because my hands are always in
Mhm.
things. And so I think just simply wearing the simple jewelry sends a message. And all of a sudden, when they'll say a word, they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I feel bad because I don't want them to make them to feel guilty. But on the other hand, I'm just sort of amazed at the power of just simply the symbol of the cross
Mhm.
can have
Mhm.
in someone's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I do allow them to lead. If I'm ever allowed to listen to music, I do ask permission if my Christian music is okay, and if not, I will put in earbuds if I'm not working with them doing the decluttering. If I've already decluttered and now they've set me free to do the organizing. I try to listen to Christian music out loud, but if I feel like it's inappropriate, I do use my earbuds. That's the one thing about being faith-based that I wished everyone knew, and maybe they do. You know, we don't have to speak a word for people to feel that sometimes. And I think we don't have to always be talking about God for that presence to be there. I think it's just the fact that we're faith based. And if that conversation comes up, we're able to tap into that. And that's what I love
Hmm.
because I always want to respect my clients.
Yes.
And I think as Christians, there is a time and a place,
Yep.
always.
Yes.
We're not going to hide our faith ever, but we're not always going to hit people with the Bible.
No.
You
No.
respect their space. We're in their home. We respect their space, and we're able to pray for our clients, you know.
Yes.
I think that's a plus. And I love what you said. I pray beforehand because, like we talked about before, everyone has a style, everyone has a way, and I always want the Lord to show me exactly how to work differently with every client.
Yep.
And sometimes, oh, okay, we've got our 10-minute warning.
Oh,
So, but that's what I do. I always respect the clients, and I think they all know where we stand just because of who we are. I think it's always ever present
yeah.
because I think they can feel it. So now, just because we're organizers doesn't mean we always have this perfect cookie cutter organized life. What is one struggle that you have, and then what part of organizing makes you the most proud in your own life. And it can be business or at home. It doesn't have to be big, it can be tiny.
Ironically, I think the answer is the same. I feel um, photos on my computer are overwhelming to me because A, I have grandkids, so I have way too many photos. um, and and I know, and I'm like you. I am not high tech. I would rather work with my hands, but I know in order to go through my photos, it's overwhelming to me because there are so many. And I wish that I were better organized digitally with my photos.
Mhm.
Um, I print out photos like once a year. That's how much I hate it. Just do it. I know it'd be easier if I did it 4 times a year, but I just don't like it. Um, and ironically, because I print out my photos, they are also my biggest source of pride in my organizing because they are all in albums. They are journaled. Um, I worked for 11 years at a fairly large archive, and so you have to be pretty organized for that too. And people would donate photos, and there would be absolutely no writing on the back of them, no indication of who, where, why, how. And we said these are for all intents purposes trash. I'm really sorry, but there's no way to display these and share these because there's no information there.
Mhm.
So I have, because of that background, um, I am very connected to hard copies of things. So I do print out my photos. I do have a Frameo, so I do have digital photos on there. But I print out everything that I want printed. And I put it in albums in chronological order, and they're all journaled. And if anyone needs to find a photo, man, I can find it. If
Mhm.
they don't get in an album, I do have another, it's a Creative Memories photo safe box
Mhm.
that I put any leftover photos in.
Mhm.
And I think one day when the Lord says we're done living in this house and it's time to downsize, I will just simply trash all of those photos because they are extras. They are things that were not photo book worthy.
Mhm.
Um, but I have in the past needed to go back in there and
Mhm.
find photos that I didn't find book worthy, and yet they were photos of dear friends that maybe have now passed on, and they needed photos for
Mhm.
the um, the clips. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Oh,
so
well,
it's the same
I'm
answer.
still impressed. I don't think I have printed out a picture, maybe from my computer, maybe 2 or 3 times in 20 something years or 35 years. So just the fact that you actually get them printed out is awesome. I don't know what I'd do if I lost them all, but I do have the cloud. But anyway, we won't go into all my digital issues. Um, awesome. Now, what would you like people to know that I have not asked you yet and you want people to know? What did we not cover? And
Hmm.
then you can go into your social media. How can, people reach you?
Okay. Um, things that we've not covered. I think I said I was a Lutheran school teacher. My husband is teaches at the Lutheran Seminary here in St. Louis, and we just got hit by a tornado, so that
Mm.
was something.
Mm.
Um, but I am married to my best friend. My husband and I
Oh,
have just we just love hanging out together, and
that's
we have two
awesome.
daughters, and love hanging out with them. But they both live out of town, so it's
Mm. A
hard
little
to see them.
challenging.
Yeah, because they both live in different directions, like 6 to 8 hours away from each other. So we're in the middle.
All right. And how can people reach you if they want to reach your business?
I put my card here, so just make sure I
And
got
we
all
can
of
all put
my,
this in the description also. So,
okay, sweet. So my email is Laura at simplestepsstl.com. My last name is Mars, like the planet, but with two R's. So if you're looking up that, you want to stick that other extra R in there. My website is simplestepsstl.com. Instagram is on there, lauramars.sso, and LinkedIn, so Facebook. So I should
And
be able
you're
to
in
be
what area again?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your business and a little bit about your faith with us. And everyone out there, just know that you can have a business and have a faith-based business as well. And like we said, we respect our clients, but we are a faith-based business. All
Absolutely.
right. Well, big hug, and I will talk to you later. Thank
Carrie, thanks so much. Appreciate this very much.